Hello there, welcome to my weekly energy report. I'm Karen from KarenTurpin.com and it is the 23rd of January 2023 today, and I'm going to be talking about the confusion that is part of this psychological operation that we're in. We are actually in a psycho-spiritual war, and this is happening at multidimensional levels. It's not just what we see playing out on a physical level. I know that can be a bit hard to wrap your head around sometimes, but what is at stake here really is the freedom of our spirit. As beings of pure consciousness, we have the power to create. We could say we have the power to create the life that we want, and other people would object and say, of course you don't, because you're not God. So I'm not going to quite go there today. That's not the purpose of this. What I want to point out is that not everything that we choose to focus our consciousness on is pure. Because where we place our attention and our consciousness is where we place power and energy. And when we spend too much time focusing on the dark stuff, we're actually feeding the dark. Where we choose to participate with a dark agenda, we are also empowering that dark agenda. So basically, you can feed the black wolf in your mind or the white wolf in your mind. And whatever you decide to feed, the light or the dark, it's going to take up residence in your mind and in your body. And it can literally take over your consciousness. In a sense, we're seeing a lot of this happening with people getting addicted to the internet, social media or playing games and this kind of thing, because it really, where you place your attention, your focus, your awareness, your consciousness, you're going to go down that road. That is a choice where you place the power of your consciousness. And your consciousness has the power to create something which eventually can become very real and tangible. Anyway, part of this psychological operation is designed to confuse people with mixed messages and things that don't make sense. You can actually break down a person using confusion. Basically, that's gaslighting, right? And we have experienced mass gaslighting, global gaslighting, actually. The people that have been broken down in this way are easy to spot, because even now they are still the ones that are standing on those circles or crosses, outside the checkout. Those circles or crosses are supposed to keep you safe because they're 1.5 meters apart, and yet we're all breathing the same air. How can that make sense, right? And we know that masks don't work, and that is a scientific fact. So there's confusion right there, and we've all been living that for a few years now. Another brain scrambler, of course, was the one that said that you could sit down safely in a restaurant and eat, but the moment that you stand up, you have to put a mask on again, because otherwise you become a super spreader risk. It's all complete BS, right? It always was. The people that put those things in place, I think, are laughing at them, at us, because they know the ridiculousness of this. And it was just really to see how many people would follow. It would give a good gauge on the consciousness level of the population. And it would also show how gullible we are, how programmable we are. Sadly, many people did follow those orders. I hope some of them have woken up now. They seem to have in some aspects, but they're still seriously failing in other parts, right? They kind of haven't woken up across the board, just little bits they're questioning now. Thank goodness. Anyway, I guess what we have to realize is that we each choose our own path. I feel sorry for people who fell for the psychological operation, but you can't save them. You can't make people see what they are unwilling to see or not ready to see. And there's a lesson there that they need to have for their soul growth. It is what it is. We've all, I'm sure, tried to help people wake up and see, but we can't get through to them, it seems. Very frustrating. It's a bit sad when you see that the choices that people have made really lead them down a dark path. But what can you do, right? I had a girlfriend once, some years back, who was in a very abusive relationship. He used to beat her and all sorts of awful things. Well, she knew she was in an abusive relationship, but she said to me that she loved him, and she just stayed in that relationship for ages. We talked and talked about it, and she just said, I feel powerless to stop it. I couldn't save her. She couldn't save herself. She just had to go through it until such time as she said, well, that's it, enough's enough, I can't stand it anymore. Frustrating as hell for me to watch my friend go through this. But, I couldn't change things for her. She had to go through that path. It's a soul path, right? Soul growth. So it's heartbreaking when we have to witness this type of thing. But people have to make their own choices. And I think going forwards, we will have to be very spiritually strong to witness the outcome of the repercussions of the choices that people have made, particularly through this last 3 years, because we know that we are heading for a health crisis. We're going to have to be spiritually strong to witness our loved ones go through their process. But if we can elevate our consciousness so that we can see it from a soul level or even higher than that as well, then honestly, from that level, it's kind of easier to accept than when you are viewing it from a personal 3D level. Because this is our friends and family members that we will have to witness go through certain things that they've chosen. It kind of breaks your heart when you look at your loved one or your friend experiencing this. But as I say, if you can elevate and view it from higher consciousness, like I had to do with my friend, then you can say, well, I love them anyway. They're going through their soul lesson, this growth. That's why I say we're going to need to be spiritually strong in order to witness some of this. So even beyond the pandemic, we see people suffering at the hands of the medical establishments for the use of toxic medication, when natural medication is available and can cure. But people have been indoctrinated into running to the doctor for advice and then taking any old pill or medication that's handed out to them. They're usually blue pills that are handed out, right? If you know what I mean. Herbalists, homeopaths, kinesiologists, acupuncturists, even great healers, hypnotherapists, people like that tend to hand out the red pill, if you know what I mean. I know that's cryptic. If you don't know what I mean, just message me and I'll explain it to you. But basically, we can choose synthetic or artificial or natural or organic ways of living and being. And that is the plan that the divine had for us, whether you call that God or source or the universe or whatever. I use all of those words interchangeably, not in a religious context at all. But what has disturbed me more recently is the realization that there is a new pill out there, being peddled actually, and that is the black pill. I see many people taking it, and I find it quite disturbing actually, and probably I find it more disturbing that people are taking the black pill than people that have been taking the blue pill, if you can follow me. Because very often the people that are now taking the black pill previously took the red pill and they woke up. But now they've given up. And that's very sad, because sometimes they are even against us, whereas before they were with us in our beliefs and in the use of our consciousness going forwards to create, a new earth, Garden of Eden, whatever you want to call that. But what I see when I see these people that have taken the black pill that are now turning against us for our beliefs in consciousness and the power to create, and I see that that's another level of divide and conquer in a sense. I wondered why they've given up. I kind of get it. Yet I personally have not for 1 minute given up. Even though admittedly this great awakening has not happened as quickly as I would have liked it to, but I can accept that there are things that I don't know, things that have to be put in place before this big shift can, fully reveal itself on a physical level. We're just not there yet, so to speak. And, that's the way it is. And personally, I feel that I have been waiting lifetimes for this great awakening and this mass shift of consciousness. There's just definitely no way that I'm giving up now. No black pill for me at all. But I do get that people are frustrated about how long this is taking. People feel desperate for change, and I get that. People feel that they can't go on like this. But that's a very internal state of despair, actually. And I also get that people are being ridiculed and condemned for their beliefs and for trying to talk to people about this shift that's occurring, etc. We are being called conspiracy theorists. But, going around saying that we're all doomed and there is nothing more coming, I think that that's a little bit dangerous. That was never ever in the plan for me. It was never ever in the plan for many of us, actually. And remember that you can feed the black wolf or the white wolf. If you've taken the black pill, you are feeding the black wolf, which in this case is the dark agenda, as I call it. If you've given up, your vibration is low. You can't help us create a new earth if your vibration is low. You are actually then aligning to the old energies, the old structure, the old ways of being, which is collapsing and falling apart. But that's what you're aligning to if you're going down that way of saying, there's no hope. And, I've even heard people say, oh, nobody's coming to save us. And that's true. Nobody's coming to save us. We are the ones that have to stand up and create the new world as we want it to be, the new earth. But giving up in doom and gloom, as I say, that's a really low vibration. So I feel sad when I see people go there. So I've noticed as well that some people have taken the black pill when they've gone too far down the rabbit hole, so to speak. They seem to go into a little bit of this black pill low vibration state. Some people get hooked into it and they stay in that low state, and literally all of their messages are doom and gloom. I literally can't bear to listen to that anymore. There are a number of big public speakers who talk that way, and when I come across one of their videos or talks, it actually feels painful to my heart. I can't listen to that. So some people go too far down the rabbit hole into doom and gloom, into this whole I have no freaking idea what's happening in the world and I give up kind of vibe. Other people go there for a little while and then they clean themselves up and they pull themselves up, so to speak. I've seen truth speakers start out really great with their messages of support for the future, But then somehow they kind of get lost somewhere along the way, and the whole vibration of their messages begins to shift. Ego can do this as well, of course, when they have big followings. Now, I've seen as well lots of people like to call out other people for being fakes or frauds or shills. I get that. When someone doesn't resonate with us, when they're giving a message that we don't believe is true or accurate, it can be tempting to claim that they are giving a distorted message. I just gave an example of somebody whose message actually was painful to my heart because it was so heavy. So I get that. But I also kind of have a look at this and say, well, anyone that follows these people, they are either aligning to it themselves, and that's their soul path, or they're testing the water, just like I did, listening to it for moments. I don't really think it's a good thing to be pointing people out as this one's good, that one's bad. However, if someone says to me, what do you think of this person? I will happily say, nah, it doesn't feel right for me. But that doesn't mean it's not right for you. This is the point I'm trying to make. We all have our own opinions. That's all we ever have. And remember that some people are programmed to give out a distorted message, in a sense, a misleading message, because in this world there's so much going on. So some people give out misleading information, in my opinion. Other people can only seem to hear that. They can't seem to hear the truth. But then again, that's my opinion. This is the overall thing I'm trying to say, is that sometimes we are told the truth and we simply cannot recognize it for what it is because it doesn't fit with what we believe it should be. And it doesn't fit for where we are on our path at this time. There are definitely things in the past that I have said, even on videos, going back quite a few years now, I must say, but there are things that I used to believe, things that I used to say that I no longer align to. Some of that I picked up from various teachers that I had at the time, and this is why I know how easily it is, how easily we can be programmed to believe what another person tells us is right. Now, it may be right, or it may be wrong, or it may be right for them and not right for us, because we each have our own soul path that we need to walk. And sometimes we go down the wrong path for a period of time because that's how we learn what's right and wrong for us. So we go down that path and then all of a sudden we have to screech our brakes on and go, whoa, this ain't right for me. And then we pull ourselves out. This is how we learn. So think back to the people who thought that sitting down in a restaurant was safe, but standing up wasn't. You simply cannot make somebody like that change their mind. You just have to let them find out for themselves. And this is somewhat the same with who we listen to, what we believe, and what our pathway should be. This is a spiritual thing, right? So in my courses and classes, when I work with people, I really try to teach them to tune into themselves, to their own truth, because your heart knows the truth for you and for what you need to experience. And that's why learning to feel is so important. In this world, people override the knowing of their own heart, which is inner knowing, right, or inner guidance. People override that with what their head says. But this is where the programming occurs in the head, from watching TV, from reading things, from listening to what everybody else says and believing without discerning. When someone tells you not to listen to to someone else. In a sense, they are attempting to program your mind to what they think is right, to what they believe should be right for you. And it may be right for you, but it may not be. And ultimately, that discernment is something that you need to learn to have for yourself. Take the power to discern for yourself. Don't hand it over for someone else to tell you what to do. So in truth, we are all free to think and believe whatever we want to think or believe. We know that we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. We know that we can't make somebody see something until they're ready to see it, because this is all part of our learning and our growth, right? And really, we shouldn't have the power to make someone see at a certain time just because we think they should. We shouldn't have the power to make someone believe exactly what we think they should believe. Because where's our free will and choice gone as a human? One of the things I'm passionate about is freedom, sovereignty, a liberation from being controlled. So I'm very keen on encouraging people to learn this discernment, the messages from your own heart, you know. If we think we should be able to make somebody see things a certain way, then we're no different from the controllers that are trying to control us to live and believe certain things. I try to encourage people to feel things for themselves. We all learn in different ways, and I'm happy to share what works for me, what I believe, what I think, and what I feel. And I'm fine if you feel differently to me. I have no judgment of you because you believe something else or because you make different choices to me. I'm really neutral about that. I didn't used to be, in all fairness. Going back quite a few years now, I thought everyone should believe me, but clearly I've evolved a little bit since then, and I'm kind of neutral about what you believe, but I am very passionate about helping people to find their own truth and make a decision that's right for them. I will teach you how to feel it for yourself, how to discern what's right for you, and to take in what's right for you and to let go of what you need to let go of. There are very subtle differences in the feelings of alignment. This is intuition. I teach this in my courses and classes. What I'm very passionate about is helping you to take the power of your own consciousness to create a beautiful life, the life that you want. Because actually, even what you think is a beautiful life could be different to what I think is a beautiful life. There's no one hard, set, fast rule that we should all follow. Now, we do have free will and choice. And sure, over the last 3 years, certain people have tried to take that away from us. And possibly they'll try and take that away again in a different way. But they can only do that if we give our power over to them. If we allow it, in other words. Remember that this is a psycho-spiritual war. And when we take hold of our mind and let go of the negative programming that they're trying to put in, or the conditioning of society of how we should think, feel, act, and believe. And when we take hold of our spirit, that's the power of our consciousness, then we become unstoppable. We take hold of our mind, we take hold of our consciousness and our power, and we can weigh up the mind and the heart, because there's the perfect guidance for us. We literally are unstoppable. Now, they've tried to break us down with their psychological mind games. That's the gaslighting, the mixed messaging, the confusion, the lies and the deceits, which are finally starting to reveal, and we're going to see a lot more reveal as well coming up. And they've tried to break our spirit as well through that isolation, which is terrible for people. It really breaks down your spirit. And through this divide and conquer kind of mentality where we're asked to call out our neighbours because, they walk to the garden gate without a mask on or something, for goodness sake. But this divide and conquer where, it's really like a witch hunt, is it not? And I think that this is why it's been so painful to many of us that have been hunted down for our powers of observation or healing abilities or psychic abilities or whatever. This divide and conquer has really affected those of us with the witch wound, as we call it, that have been hunted down in past lives. And so, they put that into place, divide and conquer. Call out anybody not doing the right thing. That's the same as the witch trials, in a sense. Anyway, they've even tried to break down our DNA, and it's in our DNA that we hold all of our innate gifts and talents and wisdom accumulated over many lifetimes. They even tried to stop people praying and singing in their churches. It's completely ridiculous. The truth is that your spirit is inside of you. You are connected to, you are part of the divine. And nurturing that connection is where you will receive all of the guidance that you could ever need for you to lead you on the right path, for your soul growth, for your expansion, and so that you can live a beautiful and abundant life. It's all within you. You just have to learn how to tap into that. It comes as a feeling, it comes as a knowing, a gut instinct, if you like. Sometimes it comes as a vision. Sometimes it's a very clear command. Do this. Don't go there. And it comes in our dreams, and it comes in symbolic visions as well. There's so much there. It's all inside of us. It's all inside of you. And it's all around us. It's all around you. And this is where your power lies. This is clearly what I'm very passionate about, as you can see. So if you would like to learn more about finding your power, really activating your power, reach out to me. I've got several courses and classes that are specifically designed all around this, because I know as a spiritual being, as the spiritual being that you are here to activate that power and to create the new earth with us. So we need to activate that within us so that we can raise our vibration. Because we've talked for years about this shift from 3D to 5D. That requires a shift of consciousness, a shift of vibration. We need to shift it up. And as well, remember that the fifth dimension is a physical dimension, whereas the fourth dimension is one of those kind of spiritual, etheric dimensions. So we need to be shifting from 3D to 5D. That's a huge leap, and that's why we're seeing so many people that are starting to awake, but it's taking such a long time because it has to move through all of those layers. There has to be a shift pretty much in every cell in the body, when that dark agenda is all about breaking down the body. So you can see the psycho-spiritual war that we're in. However, I am hugely encouraged by the number of people that I see waking up. And sure, they may not all be switched on to the spiritual part of this. And for sure, some of the people that I thought were awake have gone backwards. So there's we're winning and losing. But overall, consider the fact that I've been working in this sphere for 25 years. And I can tell you that we have never been as far progressed along the path to the Great Awakening as we currently are, because the sheer volume, the numbers of people waking up, questioning things and making, empowering choices is just so beautiful to see. So maintain your faith, hold strong, as they say, and let's keep moving forward to create the beautiful new earth that we actually came here to be a part of the creation process for. So, as I say, I have courses, classes, I do private sessions, I have lots going on, all about helping to empower you. And if I can help you in any way, DM me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm Karen Turpin, Energy Coach, and my website, of course, karenturpin.com. So I hope this has helped you today, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.